What's up, everyone? My name is Chuck. I've managed over $40 million in social media ad spend, and today we're going to be talking about how to optimize for long-term customers. A little different than what we might do normally for just getting purchases, but today we're going to be talking about how to optimize for lifetime value and long-term customers for your business. This is going to be a huge difference maker in your advertising approach. I'm excited to get into it. How to optimize for long-term customers. So quick sales are great, but what is the deeper standard that you're setting for the customer? This is an advanced lesson. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend you watch this anyway, but this is going to be an advanced lesson. We're going to be skipping forward on a lot of concepts and assuming there is some form of knowledge here. So let's get into it. So there's a few different levels of optimizing for long-term customers, and we're going to break it down from each different level, from when someone is buying your product to when it's being fulfilled to what happens after that. And then we're going to break down what you can do in the context of your ad campaigns as well. So when someone's buying your product, you want to look at your overall life cycle of sales for how often might they buy the product from you. If it's one time, you're going to want to optimize for future product drops, and it's typically harder to discount up front. If it's repeat purchases, so if your product is a consumable, you can afford a higher cost to acquire the customer because after that first purchase, they're buying again because maybe they run out of product, or for one reason or another, they buy a follow-up of that product or they refill on it. So if it's one time, approach is a little bit different and you're a little bit more ROI focused on that first sale for acquiring that customer, where if you're repeat, you do have a bit of a luxury for being able to afford a higher cost to acquire that customer because you know that they'll be buying down the line. So that's the first thing that you want to establish is, what is your product? Is it a consumable? Is it one time? Is there a sequence of products that they can buy? So is there a gateway product? And then from there, maybe it's a one-time purchase, but then there are things that are consumable about refills or something like that. But you just want to understand your product first and foremost and the life cycle of that product and how that fits into the buyer cycle. So then after that, next, we have the offer. So you want to think about what type of offer you're giving. And this is really important because a lot of times what direct response marketers will do is they'll just go with the % off offer to get the lower cost per purchase and therefore kind of inflate their ROAS up front because they're getting a lower cost per purchase, and that's just the standard % off discount. But I want to just caution one thing about doing % off discounts. Generally, psychologically, you're more likely to attract a price sensitive consumer because a portion of those people will only be buying from you because of the pricing. So this is something that you want to always keep in mind with your offers, is what is the psychology that you're enforcing or that you're reinforcing with the offer that you're giving. It just comes back to the ideal customer that you want to attract, and you want to have that defined up front, and that will affect a lot of the offers that you give. But going a little bit deeper, some offers that do work really well are free gift with purchase. Within that, you retain the original product value, but you improve the overall value. So you're improving the average order value, but you retain that original product value that you're selling. So you're giving a free gift up front, but you're retaining that original cost of that order. Now, a benefit with this is that it can expose the consumer to try a product they wouldn't have otherwise. It could be a totally separate one as the free gift, and you can open them up to a whole new sub-market within your business of products they can become buyers of. So it's a really, really good thing to do. And when people hear free, they just tend to like it. They kind of get the same reaction as the % off, but the psychology behind it, you could be attracting a little bit higher value of a customer over time because they are paying that original price up front. Another good one is the buy one, get one % off. Again, you retain your original product value, but you improve the overall value for the customer. You're still raising the average order value with that, but you're retaining that original product value for the first one that you're selling. This can also be a good deal for them if it is some form of a consumable. So for example, if you have a t-shirt and you're selling buy one t-shirt, get another one % off, they might wear that t-shirt down after a while, and that's actually a better deal for them because now they have a fresh new one to be getting. And then another good offer, moving on, is bundling. With bundling, offering multiple products can expose the consumer to new offerings, And this one is great because you can pair a non-consumable with a consumable to improve the lifetime value. So if you have a product that is generally not consumable or that they're not buying again for a really long period of time, well, pairing a product with that is a consumable, that could be something that needs to get refilled constantly. Anything that has a really short lifespan or life cycle for that product before they need to buy it again, you can pair within this bundle and give them a really good deal on it, because then they'll be more likely to buy that one again that is consumable. You could open them up to that whole sub-market within your business, or it could just pair really nicely with the product, and you could even throw different add-ons that they might not need with the product, but it directly pairs with it really well and is meant for it. A great example is a water filter that I have. They sell the water filter up front. It's not something that you're really rebuying, quite honestly, ever, but they sell consumable add-ons. So you have the filters that you have to refill the water filter with, but then you also have these like mineral drops that you could put in the water that is kind of like an optional add-on of a consumable. Things like that are really smart to do because you have the consumable that is necessary with the product, which is great, but then you also can upsell a secondary consumable that might not be necessary, but it can still improve the lifetime value in dollar terms. And also for me, bundling up front gives the appearance that the company is thinking of your needs, because they're like, here's everything that you need in one swoop. So it's something to think about. It really can improve the customer relationship, because you are just giving them everything they need up front, and that's it. Plenty of people are more than willing to pay a little bit extra just to get everything they need, not be upsold like crazy, and just get it all in one, and then they'll worry about consuming it again down the line when it runs out. So these three are the number one things to be looking at when we're thinking about our offer. Going into that now is a little bit more lead gen focused, but giving free samples. You can get a super low cost per lead depending on how your ad and landing page are set up, and you can easily expose consumers to a high lifetime value product. So this could be like a moisturizer. These tend to work really well for, or any type of like ultra frequent consumable. You give them a really small sample up front. It's free, ships to their home. You get all of their information. You get their address, so you can do location-based advertising. And then you also get them within your CRM, so you can remarket to them, and you're exposing them to the product. So it's really like a dream marketing situation all in one, because you're getting multiple different touch points with the consumer, and you're getting them into your CRM, and you know where they live, and you're exposing them to the product. So it's kind of a no-brainer to do free samples if you can afford to. Highly recommend, if you do have a highly consumable product, to do free samples. You will get an insanely low cost per lead if you run your ad right. It's a really great lead magnet and a great way to get leads and new prospective customers. And you can also, going deeper into this, you can also exclude your current customers from this when you do campaigns in the ad platforms. So you can take your entire customer list and exclude them from this free sample campaign to better ensure that current customers aren't the ones consuming these free samples. If they're a customer of that product, or however you want to do it, just make sure it's relevant. If it's a totally different product vertical within your business, you might not want to exclude current customers from that. But yeah, use your discretion, depends, but just know that is an option. You could take your entire customer list, exclude it from this free sample campaign, so that you are really truly prospecting net new customers here. And then just another thing with the offer is your guarantee. Be careful with what you guarantee. Guarantees are great, but just know that very straightforward delivery is important, or you can risk losing trust. So for example, if you say, I guarantee you will, and then just give some insane guarantee after that, if you can't uphold that in a very straightforward manner, you risk losing trust of the client, of the consumer. They can give reviews. They could go out on Reddit or other platforms and put it out there that you're guaranteeing something, but you're really delivering something that's misleading. So make sure that if you are going to give a guarantee, that you can really deliver on that, and it is very straightforward, it is honest, and has the best intention behind it. That's all I'll say about the guarantee. Guarantees are great otherwise, though. Now, moving on, the next step in this sequence, in this process, is fulfillment. So what is their experience throughout fulfillment? A big part of this with improving the customer experience and ultimately getting higher value customers in the long term or improving their lifetime value because you'll make them want to shop with you is removing points of friction where possible. So an example of this is you can add order progress tracking, you can list key dates for delivery if you're a service-based business, or even if you are a Shopify business or e-commerce business. But whatever you do, laying out and being super upfront with when they can expect things and laying out your expectations is great to do for their relationships. A lot of times all people wanted to see is where they're at in their progression. And that's really the root of a lot of customer service complaints, is that there's not really visibility into where things are at. So when you give people that, you can really instill trust in your customer and they will want to come back just solely because of that. A lot of things now you could probably automate to a great extent and probably would want to use agents wherever possible, but remove points of friction wherever you can with your customers. It will go a really, really long way. Next is encouraging positive reinforcement. A few different ways you can do this. You can provide a unique discount upon receiving the product. So when they get the product from you, they get a unique discount code for your site, not just like some standard, oh, here's 10% off or something. Try to be creative with this and make it something that they actually want to save and that stands out and that makes your brand memorable. So if you think about it, just know every brand is doing some form of a little like 10% off discount when they get your product. So how can you stand out from that? Because if you can stand out and make it something that's actually worthwhile to the customer, because nowadays, what is 10% off? So if you can make it something that's really worth it to the customer, it'll go a long way with them remembering you and wanting to come back, and their perception of your product too. Another one you could do for positive reinforcement is review filtering. So you can follow up and ask for a quick star rating. You can follow up with a request for a quick testimonial for 5 stars and offer a consultation with those who score less than 5 stars. So this is pretty much just saying that you can send out a form that gives a quick star rating to your customers, and if they give you 5 stars, you can follow up with them for a quick testimonial, Google review, or whatever you want to do. And if it's less than 5 stars, this is where it's actually really valuable. You can offer a consultation for those with less than 5 stars. It's very valuable because, one, you'll find the bottlenecks in your business or in your fulfillment process. You'll see exactly where their complaints lie, are great feedback points for your business and improving your customer process. That can go a really long way with improving the customer relationship. And especially when they go and post about their experience with you or anyone that they refer, having that and saying, well, they sat down with me and really cared about my concerns, that goes a really long way. And also, just the most important point here is this is a really easy way to flip a negative customer. Someone who has complained about you, if you just take the time to hear their complaint as a human and say that you're going to do something about it, and you do something about it, not only does it help for future purchases for you because you're removing bottlenecks in your process and improving, and just for a whole host of reasons, this could really, really help your business. But you're also turning a previously negative review into a potentially positive one. You'll be able to flip a much higher percentage of your negative reviews if you're doing this review filtering approach. So highly suggest reach out to your customers, just get feedback. And the ones that give you great feedback, ask them for public reviews. The ones that don't give you great feedback, meet with them. Another way is have automatic affiliate links for anyone who wants to post or refer your product. This is honestly pretty big. Sometimes people honestly just want to refer your product to people and maybe just get a little bit of a commission. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if people want to do that, please don't make them feel like they're not getting anything in return for referring you business, which is a hugely important part of your marketing process. Give them a little bit of a cut. Have a way to auto-generate affiliate links for them and go through an auto sign-up process and make it super, super easy, or just give them an affiliate link with their purchase. But however you do it, just have it right there and ready to go for them. Another point of positive reinforcement can be encourage customers to post your product in exchange for a repost. This one's pretty obvious, but encourage customers to post about you. And if they are posting about you, don't ignore them. Do not ignore them. Repost them. Shout them out on your social media. Ask them if they want to partner and do a partnership post for an ad. These are amazing ways because these are the most genuine reviews. So if you get someone who posts raving about you, do a partnership post with them. Do a collab post. and use that in ads. These will absolutely crush it. Be very open and be very receptive to customers posting about you and turn them into potential micro-influencer partnerships. It will really go a long way with a customer that really likes you. So the next phase is the nurture phase. So after they've already gotten the product and the fulfillment has happened, now how do you keep reaching them after they purchase? So a few ways that we can do this, we'll just walk through this, are contextually timed reminders for consumable products. Don't only hit them with offers, give them value, and then hit them with the offer. And that value can be many different things. Provide value can be offering product tips, interesting ways other people are using the products, cool things they could do. You can really get creative here, but give them context around the product and all the different uses that they could be doing with the product. That's giving them value because they didn't know previously how that product could be used in that way potentially. So if you're giving them a whole new way to use the product, it's a whole new benefit, and that's a ton of new value that you're extracting for them. They'll appreciate that. Give them educational content. It can be around your business, your product, customers, customer reviews, posts going viral. There's really a ton of different ways that you can do this. And that takes me to the next point. Highlight viral moments with your product. If someone posts about your product and it starts going viral on social media, highlight that. Highlight that to your entire list. Highlight that everywhere that you can, on your website, anywhere that you possibly can. Show people that it's actually popping off. Show people that people are using your product and that they're reacting to it. Highlight comments within those viral moments. Do every single thing that you can to make a viral moment yours and show the world that your product is doing something meaningful. Another way is sending quizzes to better understand customers and create segments. So quizzes are great because they're interactive, but they also help you understand your customers better. So new customers or previous purchasers, you could send them a quiz and you could create segments based on them. So what they do within skincare is your skin concern. You could also better understand the fits of clothing that they like. You could better understand the type of music that they like, what cultural references they like, what type of memes or humor they like. You could really go into it and you could start building out psychological profiles of them through these segments, or even just simply put, you can create segments based on what they like and give them content that's catered around what they like that contains some offers. So doing this will go a really, really long way with your customers when you nurture them, because it will give them a perception and they will understand that you're actually thinking of them, because you're just doing it at scale. You can also create segments based on products that they purchased. So people who purchase a certain group of products, you can create a segment for that and recommend similar products. You can contextually remind them when these products might need to be refilled if they're consumable. There's a lot that you could do, and you can also recommend products that pair nicely with one they already purchased. There's a lot that you could do when you create segments based on the products they've already purchased. Next, and last, a reward system. This kind of goes back with the affiliate links as well. Reward them for being repeat purchasers. Reward them for recommending people to you on top of the affiliate commission. Reward them for posting about you. Just have different tiers of discounts and reward points that they're getting with you, because it goes a really far way with people, especially for restaurants. If you're a restaurant and you have someone coming to you multiple times a month and you have a point system there with them, and they get maybe a free drink with their meal or even a free meal after a certain amount of points, that will go a really, really long way with people, because a lot of places don't do that. And you could adjust it in a way that makes sense with your business and that you can afford it with your margins. There's a lot that you could do with a reward system, and just having it and knowing that the customer is getting something in return of value will go a super long way with establishing your business with them. This could work for so many businesses. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in the nurture sequence here is basically the consumer life cycle, or the marketing funnel of a consumer. Traditionally, we've thought of marketing funnels as awareness, consideration, conversion. And it was this very binary 3-step funnel. Well, Google had done some research and they found that it actually was not like that at all. So on the outside at the awareness level, you had the exposure. So in some way they were exposed to your brand. Maybe it was awareness media, maybe it was just an ad that they saw, or maybe it was organically through someone. But they were exposed to your product in some form or your brand in some form. So now they have overall general awareness. That's the first barrier there. And now you get into this trigger phase, which is kind of like the engagement phase. They haven't made a purchase yet, of course, but they're learning about your product and your brand. That's the exploration phase. Then it's the evaluation phase, where they're evaluating how and when they should buy your product, if it's right for them. They're taking in all the information that you're giving them through ads, through your organic content, through researching your brand. They're evaluating if it's a fit for them. And basically they're going in this figure 8 pattern here with all the pieces of content that you have. So whether it's educational content, through your ads, seeing them multiple times, whatever it might be. Basically here is just an infinite loop of consideration until they actually decide to make a purchase. And when they decide to make a purchase, it could be in a moment that they need it, that there's an actual need for them, that they're actively searching it. It could be that an ad just catches them at the right time and it had the proper warm-up leading up to that. But basically what all this is saying is that everything that goes on in this engagement phase in the middle, after that initial awareness impression, everything that goes on in the middle is just really nurturing. And that's what it goes into. So there is no exact way, as probably everyone watching this knows, there is no one way or one number of times that you have to reach someone before you get them to buy. It can be one time, it could be 200 times. It really can be any number. What's more important is the content that they're engaging with in between, and the content that you're feeding them in between to engage with. So that's what you want to keep in mind, and you want to think of it as this figure 8. And it's really that engagement, that consideration period. And that's what they're doing here before they actually are going and making the purchase. And all of this plays into that. Last in this sequence, you have your targeting. So you can create CRM segments. So just customer list segments to retarget and model your high value audiences. So this is a little bit further than your standard segments that you would create, because we're specifically going after those who are the highest value over time, the highest value customers, the highest lifetime value. You can connect your data feed to multiple ad platforms also. So you can connect the data feed that's going into Meta, to Google, to TikTok, to all the different ad platforms, so you could have a centralized source of data to be feeding out to all the ad platforms. And you can create some of these key audience segments, and a couple important ones to create if we're optimizing to lifetime value. First, you do want to just get all buyers, all purchasers out of the way. You want to have that created. Then you can have current buyers, so that's buyers in the last 12 months. Lapsed buyers are people who bought in the last 12 to 24 months, but not in the last 12 months. Repeat buyers, buyers who bought 2 or more times. Then you have your high value buyers, so it's purchases that are at least 25% over your average order value. You can also adjust this percentage to what makes sense for your business. And then highest lifetime value, so customers prioritized in order of lifetime value. And those are just some of the segments. There are a bunch more segments you can make from this, but for our purposes and just for what we're doing here, these are really, really good starting points for optimizing to the highest lifetime value customers for your business. Moving on, now this is how you could set this up in platform. So we're just going to go through it. So within the campaign setup, a big thing to have is audience segment reporting. You want to add your engaged and existing customer segments here, so that in the breakdown view in Ads Manager, you could be splitting out new, engaged, and current customers and what conversions are happening based on these segments. This is going to be really important to have defined for your lower funnel campaigns. Next is where you choose your conversion event, your cost per result goal, attribution setting, and standard attribution selections. A note here is if you're just going with starting out and you're doing a normal setup, you would be choosing standard attribution, you're maximizing your conversions, and also recommending adding in 1-day engage view when you're starting out, because this is able to separate 3-second views from through play views, being the engage view, and what conversions are happening from each. It just gives a little bit more depth for the platform to attributing conversions, because someone viewing for only 3 seconds is a lot less engaged than someone who's actually viewing 15 seconds or more and then going on to make a purchase. You're a lot more informed on that view through conversion. So it's something to keep in mind, and it's something to be looking at. Also look at your view conversions versus your click conversions, and also look at the time frames too, which are happening in 1 day, which are happening in 7 days, and even 28 days if you really want to look at that far. But just keep in mind these attribution windows when you're analyzing your performance, and that could also give you a lot of context to the direct response performance of your campaign. Next, now normally you can just do a standard Advantage Plus Shopping campaign setup, which is just one campaign, one ad set, and then your ads from there. But just to go over prospecting and retargeting, in prospecting, if you have a prospecting only ad set, you would exclude purchases because you want only net new buyers. You do not want people who have already purchased from you to be falling into this prospecting ad set. And then you have retargeting, that's site visitors and purchase segments only. Some ideas around this for what you can do for prospecting and retargeting segments are you can include different copy for each segment. So you can include different copy for prospecting and then retargeting. A classic one that I like to do for retargeting is, hey, saw you visited the site. You can include a question in that. You can include an offer. It depends on your brand voice there, but calling out the fact they visited the site and didn't buy is great. You also have a variety of content here. You want to have a variety of images, videos, UGC, influencers, catalog, collection ads. Whatever it is, have a variety of content. It's going to be really important to have that creative variation, that variety, because each creative format can instill different levels of education, of consideration for the consumer, and that could help them better make purchases down the line. You can also build the campaign as one ASC build, or you can add the copy as text options on the same ad. So if you don't want to do separate offer for retargeting or prospecting or different copy for each segment, you could put it as text options within the same ad on an ASC build. And you just do that through the plus add text option button at the ad level. Getting down to the ad level, there's additional considerations here. Tagging your products. Please make sure you tag your products. It is just the easiest way to get someone who is clicking on your product to directly be driving them to the product page. If you have multiple products in one ad, it's just the perfect way to get direct to product page. Also, utilize some new features within Meta. You could highlight promo codes on your ad. It's not a new feature, just kind of change around how they show it, but you could highlight promo codes on your ads. And this is a new one that they added on, but email sign-up offers. So you can add in a sign-up offer for people that give their email. They can get an exclusive offer directly from the ad. Could be a great thing to A/B test or try, but that is a newer thing for Meta. Next, manually testing dynamic overlays on your catalog ads could be a way to be matching % off discounts if you do want to do that. Also, details on your products depending on how in depth you want to get on it, but definitely test out overlays if it fits. Another thing, info labels. So you could add social proof for this. So you could display your profile followers on the ad itself. This is a very easy way for social proof, especially when you're using multiple variations of the same ad across different ad sets. So if you have the same ad built out across different ad sets and it's a dark ad or a manual build, it's a great way to be showing social proof with that, because otherwise, now they're starting to group the social proof together, but before, otherwise, each ad was getting its separate likes and comments and shares on it, where having these info labels now give you immediate social proof because you can display the profile following and numbers like that, which do help make the post have more social proof on it. So it could be a good thing to test. Again, I would look through all the info labels and only add what makes sense for your business. I wouldn't add all of them by default. With any setting that Meta gives you, I think it's good to try some of them out, but always go through and pick and choose your settings that make the most sense for you. Do not just blindly opt into everything, please. Last is add URL parameters to help with attribution in Shopify. This one's pretty important because in your Shopify dashboard, you want to make sure that things are attributing to your campaigns properly, to what is marketing, what is not for marketing, and do URL parameters for every medium that you're doing. So whether you're on ads, on social media, on Meta, or if you're through email, whatever it is, make sure you add URL parameters to that so it can properly attribute where the conversions are coming from. So that's all for this. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching this far. I know it was a little bit more in depth, but it's really, really important to be optimizing to the best possible customers. Too often we get caught up in just getting the lowest cost per purchase or just getting the highest volume of customers immediately. But you always want to think about the value that you are providing and also the psychology that you're reinforcing with your buyer segment or just the consumer that you're going after. So you always want to try to get in their head, and everything that you do, you always want to be thinking about the behavior that it reinforces. And that comes down to your offer, that comes down to everything along the way. Everything from ad, offer, product, fulfillment, to targeting thereafter, everything. So, and nurturing, everything. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe for more. There's so much more coming from me. I'm going to keep improving. We're going to be giving so much more to you guys. I have a ton of content planned that I will be making as much as I possibly can. I would love to grow this channel very, very much in the next few months. Again, I'm Chuck. I've managed over $40 million in social media ad spend. And I do this every single day, day in and day out for clients. If you would like a done-for-you approach and want time back in your life and want to build profitable systems with your paid social media ads, book a call today and we will do this for you. So thank you guys again. I hope this was helpful. Please share this, like this video if you found it helpful, save it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.